Hi, I'm Jennifer Fletcher, a faculty in the Division of Humanities and Communication at California State University, Monterey Bay. The following video gives you a quick overview of the purpose and design of the ERWC assignment template. Let's take a closer look at how the assignment template is put together. So what you're going to be seeing will first be the reading rhetorically section. And when we talk about what it means to read rhetorically, we're thinking about not only what a text says, but also what it does. And so what are the different choices that a writer has made in order to achieve his or her purpose and to reach his or her intended audience. With the reading rhetorically section, you're going to see that we start with pre-reading. And during pre-reading, students are getting to know about the topic, the text itself, including its purpose. They're looking at the content, learning about the author, looking at the form of the text through doing things like surveying the text, and they're also starting to get some help with the kind of language that they'll encounter when they read the text. With the getting ready to read section, some of what students are going to do is to access their background knowledge. They'll also be exploring key concepts. So what are some big ideas or questions in the text that students should think about before reading it? And as teachers, we're thinking about what tasks or activities might help students to focus on these concepts during the reading. With surveying the text, as teachers, we're thinking about what do we want our students to notice in or about the text before they read. When students are making predictions and asking questions, we want to help our students to make meaningful predictions or assumptions about the content or the argument of the text before they read. And it's important with some of these steps in pre-reading to really think about at what point can students do this automatically, at what stage do these behaviors just become part of their fluent reading strategies, rather than something that we have to slow down and take instructional time for. Understanding key vocabulary, you'll see, comes next, and this is where we have a chance to ask students about the different words that are crucial to understanding. And as teachers, we can think about which words might be difficult for some students, and how can we help these students to learn the words. Okay, so that's pre-reading. Now we're ready for reading. With the rhetorical reading process, we're looking at using the knowledge developed during pre-reading to understand the text and to confirm, refine, or refute the predictions that the students have made about the text. This section begins by asking students to read with the grain, or to play what Peter Elbow has described as the believing game. Here's where students are giving the writer the benefit of the doubt, trying to understand the argument on its own terms, and really reading with an open mind. Later, students are going to have a chance to read against the grain and play the doubting game. And both of these strategies help students to comprehend a text more deeply. Ultimately, they're going to need to synthesize their belief and their doubt so that they can arrive at their own understanding of the issues in the text and prepare to enter that conversation. Reading for understanding, so you'll see that as a repeated part of the assignment template. And teachers can ask at this stage what students might do to recognize aspects of the text that might contradict their expectations or otherwise cause them difficulty. When we look at the structure of the text, we're thinking about how the text is put together. What moves does it make? How is it organized? And how can we help students analyze the structure? So this is where looking at real-world writing is really helpful. It makes clear to students that working writers are not typically using a set structure like a 5-paragraph essay, but are really strategizing about their organization according to the demands of the rhetorical situation and the movement that their argument needs to make. And you'll see noticing language. Are there words, grammatical patterns, or turns of phrase typical of academic language that may be new to students or potentially difficult for them to understand? And if so, how can you help your students understand this language? Noticing language is also about noticing the grammatical choices that writers have made and how grammar choices realize different meanings. Annotating and questioning the text. What can we do as teachers to help students begin a dialogue with the ideas, assumptions, and arguments of the text? So we're talking back to the text. Annotation is also a great place for helping students to work really closely with the text at the word and phrase and sentence level to practice their marginalia, writing around the text, and making sure that they're really getting in and doing a close textual analysis. And that also continues when students are analyzing stylistic choices. So here as teachers we ask, what did the author intend or imply by making specific choices of words, sentence structures, organizational strategies, or use of other linguistic features, and how can we help our students notice these effects? Post-reading. So we've done a lot of work during the pre-reading and the reading stage to really try to understand not only what the text says, but also how it says it. Post-reading starts to move students more toward a place where they can summarize the big picture and respond in preparation for taking their own stand on the issue. So in post-reading, we're looking at a process that readers follow once they've read and reread a text. It can involve restating the central ideas of the text, responding to them from a personal perspective, but it also often includes questioning the text, noting its rhetorical strategies, evaluating its arguments and evidence, and considering how it fits into the larger conversation about the topic. Summarizing and responding. Summarizing is not easy. We know this, and then summarizing something correctly depends on comprehending it. So as teachers, we think, how can we help students to express their ideas and arguments of the text in their own words? Thinking critically. This is one of the sections in the assignment template that has a strong rhetorical kick. We're looking at how we can help students notice and respond to the rhetorical decisions made by the author, especially regarding ethos, logos, and pathos. And these are terms that you'll hear from classical rhetoric quite often as you use the expository reading and writing course. Ethos we can think of as the writer's image or an appeal to character. Logos has to do with logic, with claims and evidence, with the written word and with the structure of an argument. Pathos has to do with the audience's reactions. So we talk about pathos as an appeal to emotion, and it's also really helping us understand the relationship between a writer and his or her audience. What are they feeling as they're listening to the claims of somebody else? So, reflecting on your reading process. Students have worked through thinking critically. This is a chance for them to really develop the habit of mind of metacognition, being aware of themselves as learners. As teachers, we think, how can we help students reflect on both some of the problems that they had reading the text and also the discoveries that they've made about the use of specific reading strategies.